Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Prediction Princess Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for post-Darkwing Blast. We actually got some new support for the Prediction Princess deck. It's been a good while since we've actually had any support for this deck. I don't even think they've gotten any new cards since their first initial release in the Dragons of Legend set. Just a bunch of reprints, but we finally got some new support in the form of a new main deck monster, a new ritual monster, and a new spell card to work with the flip summon playstyle that this deck is meant to do, being able to flip different monsters and gain different card effects because of the many monsters we can set up with the two boss monster ritual monsters. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So starting off with the ritual monsters, I'm only running one copy of the new Prediction Princess Tarot Treath. You only really need one of this card. You can ritual summon this card with Underworld Ritual of Prediction, which is the new spell that we run in the deck. And with this card, when it's ritual summon or special summon with Prediction Princess Tarot Treath, so you can either use it for the ritual play or summon it off of your other ritual monster. You can only use each of the following effects of Tarot Treath once per turn. Quick effect, you can activate one of these effects. Flip any number of face-down monsters you control to face-up defense position. Flip any number of face-up monsters you control to face-down defense position. Or you can special summon one flip monster in from your deck in face-down defense position. So this can give you the setup for the good majority of the Prediction Princess monsters that you're running in the deck, including our new bigger boss monster as well. And also just have that set up to use this card off of our other ritual monster, which we are running two copies of, which is Prediction Princess Tarot Tray. This card, when you ritual summon it with your prediction ritual, once per turn during your end phase, you can special summon one flip monster from your hand or graveyard in face down defense position. This can only be used one of the following effects of Prediction Princess Tarot Tray once per turn and only once that turn. Quick effect, you can target one face down monster on the field and change it to face up attack position, or quick effect, you can target one face up monster on the field and change it to face down position. So this gives you more of the play to also special summon a flip monster from your hand or graveyard. That can be used to summon out your Tarot Treath. So you either have the ritual play or special summoning it off of Tarot Tray onto the field, giving you two level 9 monsters to, go into rank 9 plays if necessary, or just use the flip effects for the other monsters we run in the deck. Which for the new monster, which is Prediction Princess Bibliomuse, it's a flip effect where you can add one Prediction Princess monster except for Prediction Princess Bibliomuse from and one ritual spell from your deck to your hand. So that can be the setup right then and there with this card. And Bibliomuse is also a level 9 monster, so they can be the entire tribute cost for whichever of the two Prediction Princess monsters you wanted to summon out onto the field. And also with this card, if it's tributed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon it in face down defense position, resetting this card after you even use it for the ritual play. I considered bumping this card up to 3 if I were to do so. I'll show you what card to take out for this card. And also you can only use each of the following effects of Prediction Princess Bibliomuse once per turn. Your opponent cannot target ritual monsters you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, as another protection play, and having some pretty high attack position monsters to use against your opponent, and just having it so they can't be destroyed gives you a pretty good setup to use with those ritual monsters. For the other Prediction Princess monsters, I run 2 Coin Mora. You can special summon one level 3 or higher flip monster when this card is flipped from your hand or deck in face down defense position. Also, you cannot activate monster effects for the rest of this turn except for Prediction Princess monsters, which is no problem because it is the majority of the cards we run in the deck. Being able to set up your Bibliomuse with this card alone, since it is a level 3 or higher monster, can then just have this card flip and give you the search for one of your spells and then your Prediction Princess ritual as well. I also run one copy of Prediction Princess Arrow Sylph and one copy of Prediction Princess Crystal Dine as more search options for your deck, being able to set these cards up with your ritual monsters or your Prediction Princess Coinorma to summon out on the field, and then have additional search with your Crystal Dine being able to add a ritual monster and Arrow Sylph being able to add a ritual spell. And another flip monster I run is just one Pot of the Forbidden as a flip monster to fully utilize in the deck. It's a pretty big boss monster, but still can be easily set up with plenty of the cards that we run in the deck, whether you summon it out with Tarot Tray or even just summon it out to special summon a flip monster from your deck in face down defense position when you flip up your Tarot Treath with its own flip effect. Pot of the Forbidden can give you a draw 2 when it's flipped, or you can return all spell and traps on the field to the hand, destroy all monsters your opponent controls, or look at your opponent's hand and shuffle one card back into the deck. This card will be used for the good majority of your setup, being a pretty big boss monster to rely on for the constant flip face down and face up to use the different effect depending on which one you want to use at the time. And for more of the ritual search, I run 3 Manju of the 10,000 Hands, being able to search out whatever you need. This could be your good ritual summon to go for, adding whether you need the spell or monster from your deck to your hand. And being a ritual deck, I still run the incantation lineup, so 3 Talismandra and 3 Candle for the special summon, and for them being able to be used for the ritual play together equals out to level 10. If you were to use any of the other ones, you can even mix and match. Since you have Candle and Talismandra, I run the 1 Bookstone and the 1 Pencil Plume, since these are one-ofs just because they're graveyard recycle power. But what's also great is that Bookstone with Candle equals out to level 9, and so does Talismandra with Pencil Plume, giving you the level 9 option for your ritual spells to summon out your Prediction Princess monsters quite easily with a good number of the different combinations for the incantation monsters. And I also have 1 Diviner of Herald in the deck just because we are running the Arclight Sen play. If you wanted to run more copies of this card, you can decrease the numbers of your Talismandra and Candle to 2 copies each and then put in 1 additional copy for each one you take out of this card. I know it was more readily available in the latest Megaton, just if you have this card available to use for the Prediction Princess deck. And lastly, for a hand trap of choice, just 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring as a way for your opponent, if they do go first, for you to have an answer to stop any of their initial searches. And that is it for the main deck monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 2 copies of Prediction Ritual. This card can be used to ritual summon any Prediction Princess Tarot Tray. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal 9 or more. And during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard to add 1 Prediction Princess monster from your deck to your hand. So you have the option to banish this card as a search, giving you a Prediction Princess monster. It doesn't limit you to which one you may want to add. You can even add the ritual monsters off of this card, and also being able just to ritual summon out your Prediction Princess Tarot Tray. Both of the ritual spells do rely on specific names for the ritual, so remember that. I am also running 3 copies of the new Underworld Ritual of Prediction. This card is used to ritual summon any Prediction Princess ritual monster from your hand or graveyard in face-up attack position or face-down defense position. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. And during the standby phase, you control a Prediction Princess ritual monster. You can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon 1 non-ritual Prediction Princess monster from your deck in face-down defense position. It's why I like to run the one-ofs for some of the other ones we run in the deck, just as setup onto the field using the spell card along with the other cards we run in the deck. It's very, very useful for that setup, and sharing the specific name for our Tarot Treath, which says it needs the Underworld Ritual of Prediction to summon it out, will also come in handy for that play. And then also giving you options for the search. I am running 3 copies of Pre-Preparation of Rites. You can add 1 ritual spell from your deck to your hand and add 1 ritual monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand whose name is listed on the ritual spell. Now, sadly, the new Prediction Princess is not on the name of Underworld Ritual of Prediction, but you can still use the Pre-Preparation of Rites to search out the Prediction Ritual card, since it does have Tarot Tray on the card. And then having that option for the search definitely will come in handy, or just being able to add the ritual spell needed off of Prediction and not get the monster search. And additionally, I do also run 3 copies of Extra Foolish Burial for the additional send by just paying half of your life points, because you don't run and use anything that, burns life points in this deck. So being able to at least use this card for more send and setup search along with Diviner of Herald, depending on what card you want to send to the graveyard, always comes in handy. And to finish off these spells, just 1 Change of Heart as a way to take your opponent's cards. I don't run Monster Reborn because special summoning a flip monster on the field, unless you have a way to flip it back face down, doesn't really do much, but at least Change of Heart can give us a monster to take from my opponent and then use for the tribute for the ritual play. And then for the traps, I just run 3 copies of Junk Sleep for the flip option of being able to, when your opponent normal or special summons a monster, change all face-down monsters on the field you control to face-up attack position, and during the end phase, change all monsters back down to face-down defense position. If you have this card and your Pot of the Forbidden on the field, it's just very hard for your opponent to get around this play, because then each turn you'll have the resolve of your Pot of the Forbidden, thanks to this setup, being able to just reset it up again the following turn for your opponent, or any of your Prediction Princess monsters and their flip effects. And now moving on to the extra deck for the Diviner of Herald and also the extra Foolish Burial monster targets. I run 2 Herald of the Arclight and 2 Elder Entity for the destruction plays with the Fusion monster, and then just the Ritual Search with the Arclight. If you wanted to run a 3rd copy of the Arclight, you can take out one of the Link monsters that I run for a 3rd copy of this card. For the Xyz monsters, since they are level 9 monsters for the go-to boss monsters, I run one of the new Myriologic Aggregator. It has a send effect when it's Xyz summon to send a monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. So it's an additional monster to send off of these 2 cards to gain their search thanks to it, and also 1 Sacred Tree Beast, Hypertion, and 1 Zeus to overlay into these monsters after you attack into with them. And for the Link monsters, I run 1 Almirage, 1 Cross Sheep, 1 Underclock Taker, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Win the Wind Charmer, 1 Lena the Light Charmer, and for some of the higher links, 1 Nightmare Unicorn and 1 Apollosa. I don't go into the links often, but I always like to have them readily available to use against my opponent. And then as for some of the go-to plays, the ritual setup is a very important part of it. So even just using the incantations for their summon, and then that additional search, whether you get the search off of cards like Extra Foolish Burial or Diviner of Herald, to add that spell to your hand, and then going for the ritual play of choice can be the tribute needed just for that summon, because then you can summon out your Tarot Treath, and then use the effect to flip any face-up monsters on the field to face-down defense position. And then when this card would be flip face-up, whether it's using it on the own flip, or if you set up cards like Junk Sleep to flip it yourself, you can have that set up to then rely on other cards like summoning your Bibliomuse face down, and then using that the following turn, flipping it up to gain an additional search. And whether you use Bibliomuse for the flip of its own, you can gain the additional search of a spell and the other ritual monster. Using it then for that tribute will give you another Prediction Princess, while also being able to reset up the Bibliomuse on the field for you again. It all comes down just to what you have for the tribute to use for your Prediction Princess monsters. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Definitely an interesting look into a deck that, like I said, hasn't gotten support for a good while. And we finally got some in the Darkwing Blast set. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Twig out.